Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring a completely fascinating core premise. Building massive, life-changing wealth actually isn't about giant, unexpected windfalls. It's really not about winning the lottery or landing some massive, sudden bonus. Instead, it's all about the profound, almost psychological shift of investing a completely unnoticeable $100 every single month. We're going to look at how that specific amount of money, the kind that just quietly leaves most people's accounts on payday for, say, a nice dinner out or a few impulse buys, how that exact amount can completely rebuild the operating system underneath your entire financial life. But what actually happens when you start doing this? I want you to realize right out of the gate that this journey isn't just a math problem. Listen, if it were just math, literally everyone would be wealthy. Rather, as we're about to see, this is a chronological series of emotional tests, social temptations, and ultimately, the creation of a totally self-sustaining financial machine. It fundamentally changes the questions you ask yourself before spending, and it completely alters what feels normal to you.
All right, section 1, pressing the first button.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to follow a chronological hero on this journey. Let's call him Nolan. He's 32 years old, sitting on his couch on a random Thursday night. He's got the Fidelity app open on his phone, and the number 100 is just sitting there in the transfer box. He's been staring at it for 4 minutes? His thumb is hovering right over the confirm button. Now, hitting that button won't change his life tomorrow. No one at work is going to know, nobody's throwing him a parade. But when he finally presses it, a massive shift occurs. Crossing the line from someday to today is absolutely the most expensive gap in all of personal finance. Most people get completely stuck in this endless loop of good intentions, right? They say, oh, I'll start investing when I make more money, or when I pay off the specific credit card, or when the market looks a bit better. But conditions are never perfect. Pressing the button once breaks that loop entirely. You stop being someone who intends to invest and you instantly become someone who actually invests. And those two types of people make completely different decisions about everything that happens next.
Section 2, the 6-month survival test.
So now that Nolan has officially started, he immediately hits his first major emotional hurdle. I actually like to call this the desert of boredom. These first 6 months, they aren't about impressive returns. They are strictly about survival. Month 1, you've got $100. Month 2, 201. Month 3, 303. Fast forward to month 6, and Nolan has $612. Just think about the sheer discipline required to automatically let that money pull out of your checking account month after grueling month. And what is the grand reward for half a year of strict financial discipline? Well, let's look at the math.
$12. That is it. That is the giant, staggering number representing his total actual investment gain after 6 whole months. You literally can't even buy a decent lunch with that. And this right here represents the exact moment that 90% of people just quit. The human brain looks at a $12 reward for 6 months of sacrifice and says, yeah, this is absolutely not worth it. I could have spent that $600 on something I could actually see and feel right now. And you know what? The brain is totally right about the feeling, but it is completely wrong about the math.
And to make matters worse, right around this time, usually month 4 or 5, the market will inevitably drop. Let's say it goes down 6%. Suddenly, Nolan's app turns red. His brain is just screaming at him to sell, to get out before he loses even more of his hard-earned cash. But if he does absolutely nothing, his automatic transfer just kicks in and executes what we call dollar cost averaging. Because prices dropped 6%, his $100 automatically buys even more shares at a much cheaper price. The person who panics and sells locks in a loss and walks away forever. But the person who does nothing, they are quietly building the concrete foundation for their future wealth.
Section 3, avoiding the lifestyle track.
Now, if you can actually survive the boredom in that early panic, we can move our timeline forward to years 1 through 5. And here, the enemy shifts entirely. It's no longer the stock market trying to shake you out. It's the social envy of everyone else's visible spending. Let's compare Nolan to his friend Derek. After 5 years, Nolan has this invisible, quiet portfolio sitting at about $7,350. Meanwhile, Derek decided to stop investing altogether and used his money as a down payment on a brand new $52,000 truck with a $780 monthly payment. Derek's money is loud, it's tangible, literally everyone can see it. And every single social signal around Nolan is telling him that Derek is the one who's winning at life. I mean, Nolan actually seriously considers cashing out his $7K just to go buy something tangible too. Now, what's genuinely wild about this is the true opportunity cost of Derek's shiny new truck. If Derek had just taken that $780 monthly payment and invested it at an 8% return for 40 years, it wouldn't equal a truck. It would equal $2.74 million. Derek literally traded nearly $3 million in future wealth for a machine that will be worth practically nothing in a decade. Once Nolan realizes this staggering opportunity cost, he happily keeps his old car and lets his $100 a month quietly keep running in the background.
So an absolutely crucial point here is how you handle new money. Because eventually Nolan gets a raise at work, an extra $650 a month after taxes. This introduces the infamous lifestyle inflation trap. That's when a raise is completely absorbed by a slightly more expensive apartment, slightly nicer dinners, and maybe a slightly newer phone. But Nolan, he already built his financial infrastructure. He takes that entire $650 raise and pours it directly into his investment app, upgrading his automatic transfer from $100 up to $750. He chose to upgrade his future infrastructure instead of his apartment.
Section 4. Reaching the crossover point. Because Nolan avoided that lifestyle trap and kept his machine fueled, he eventually enters the promised land of investing. This is where the math permanently shifts in his favor. We're jumping ahead to year 10 now. This is all about the concept of the crossover point. At an 8% average return, a portfolio of $15,000 generates about $1,200 annually in purely passive compound interest. Well, think about it. If you are contributing $100 a month, your annual contribution is exactly $1,200. At this exact moment, those two numbers perfectly meet. From year 10 onward, the machine is officially earning more money than you are putting into it. The machine has learned to feed itself. It never takes a day off, it never complains, and it just keeps compounding.
Section 5. The power of time. Let's move along and see how this builds when we take a real macro view. Because once this machine becomes self-sustaining, the only question that actually matters, the one variable that dictates absolutely everything is, when did you start? Let's take 3 different people investing the exact same $100 a month at an 8% return, and they all stop at retirement age. The person who starts at age 40 ends up with $59,000. The person who starts at 30 ends up with $149,000. But check out the 20-year-old. $349,000. The 20-year-old contributes only twice as much out of pocket as the 40-year-old, but they end up with nearly 6 times the total wealth. Why? Because after 40 years, 86% of that final balance isn't even their own money. It's pure, unadulterated compound interest. Time is just doing all the heavy lifting for them.
Section 6. The hidden cost of fees.
But wait, before you run off to start your own wealth machine, we absolutely need to talk about the final, invisible villain lurking in the fine print. It's something that will literally eat away at your returns for 3 decades if you aren't paying attention. The expense ratio. An expense ratio is simply the annual fee of fund charges to manage your money. If we compare a 0.03% fee, which is pretty typical of a low-cost index fund, to a 1.00% fee, typical of an actively managed fund, both of these numbers look incredibly, harmlessly small on paper. You never actually get a bill for them in the mail. The money is just silently skimmed right off your balance every single day. And because it looks like nothing, most investors just scroll right past the fine print.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why ignoring that tiny percentage is a massive, massive mistake. If we run that same $100 a month over 40 years, the 0.03% fee gets you to your $349,000. But that seemingly tiny 1% fee, it drags your final balance all the way down to $260,000. That is an astonishing $89,000 completely drained from your account. It didn't disappear in some dramatic market crash. It was just quietly siphoned away in fractions of a percent over 4 decades.
High expense ratios are literally the largest silent tax most investors ever pay, voluntarily, unknowingly, and here's the absolute best part. It is completely avoidable. You can fix this in 60 seconds simply by ensuring you select a low-cost fund right before you start. Remember, stock market returns are never fully guaranteed, but investment costs are absolute. You have to control what you can control.
We've seen the brutal boredom of the first 6 months, the social pressure of Derek's shiny new truck, that amazing crossover point where your money finally out-earns you, and the incredible, undeniable power of time. But all of that, every single bit of it, traces back to one ordinary Thursday night on a couch, just hovering over a button. $100 was never really the point of all this. The point is the self-sustaining machine that $100 builds. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect time to start, or will you trade your today for a self-sustaining tomorrow? And finally, press the button.